So I've been playing this new game a lot recently, and every time my boyfriend sees me playing it online, he asks, "Yo, what just happened?" or "What are you doing?" And I always say some weird shit like, "A bird just ate my babies," and he has no idea what I'm talking about. So basically, this video is here to explain what the hell that means. Welcome to Niche, or Niche, or however you choose to pronounce it. I think the best way to describe this game is kind of a pseudo-gene simulator. Basically, you can start with a random set of genes for this weird little animal you have, or you can kind of customize it yourself, and today I decided to customize it myself. My goal is to kind of see if I can make a melanistic, or at least a black kind of bird-headed creature, or to see how many generations it takes for that to no longer at all be the case. In this game, you're given an option of 2 different genes, and thank God, because that does not represent the real-life horror show genes are. From what I understand, the top row of genes tend to be the dominant, and the bottom row of genes seem to be the recessive in the way that this game works. Except for skin color, which seems to kind of just blend the 2 traits together. Before I started this game, I wanted to make sure that any possible outcomes of creatures that I can get, since I didn't narrow it down perfectly, would be something I was happy with. And I kind of settled on gray, brown, black. All of those are good. As you can see, this game kind of just drops you off on an island, and in this case I chose a little bit of a harder, kind of dry savanna one, but oftentimes they're really small, and you just have to try and breed, find other animals, collect food, and get to the next island. This game also has the threat of predators, and in this case this one's a Bariina. This type of ground predator you can fight against if you have the right types of claws or jaws, and in this case I did not limit my animals to any types of hands, so there is a claw. In this round I really want to avoid the derp snout wild animals that I come across, because if I breed with them I swear the derp snout is always dominant and I can never get rid of it. This island was a much bigger one, so I'm just going to skip ahead a bit. Some of the other threats in this game, besides the Bariinas, are hunger and illness. The more interbred your animals are, the more likely they are to get the same resistance genes, meaning that they will often fall to the same illness all at the same time. Even though this illness will often shorten the animal's lives, in this case I want to try and interbreed again because I did get a derp snout, which was my fear, but they still have a recessive trait of the bird head, so if I can interbreed again, they will likely have the bird head trait that I'm going for. Even though they don't look like birds, I consider myself lucky to have 3 healthy dark individuals that will be going on to the next island. I often forget that these islands can be little archipelagos where I have to swim across in order to get to a more safe landing. In more waterlogged maps like this one, oftentimes you will encounter a F-ton of leeches that you have to worry about, so you just have to check your animals every once in a while, and it can be an additional food source. This game also gives you the opportunity to look at your own family tree, but unfortunately in this case it's looking quite diamond-like. This game also allows you to add a mutation trait, meaning that you can add a darker gene to your animals without having to find it naturally in the wild. It does not affect the individuals that you are applying it to, but it does have a 50% chance of affecting their offspring. With these minor edits, I was able to get a darker colored bird-headed creature again. However, I seem to have encountered the problem of the flying birds that will eat my offspring. Although I am incredibly tense trying to make sure that my baby stays hidden within the grass, I am lucky enough to have it reach adulthood, which means the bird can no longer swoop down and eat my baby. But I do seem to be cursed because this bird baby turned out to be a female and instantaneously encountered a dirt-faced wild male. Although I'm not the most enthused about that line of events, I do decide to try and keep all the babies alive and away from that blue hawk. Although not the most hopeful of situations, we do have two individuals that made it to the next island that have the recessive bird head trait and also have dark fur. I often like islands like this because they tend to have a lot of food on them, which is good because we're starving right now. However, they often have predatory plants, and I'm not sure how difficult this island is going to be. But in actuality, none of that actually matters because both of my individuals die of illness. So this didn't end the best on our first generation, but this is our second attempt, and we have an individual with a bird head directly. We have another one that has it as our recessive trait, and they both have dark fur traits. This island is more traditional for the starter islands. It's a lot smaller and a lot safer. I almost forgot to do some gene editing for this quick round since she does have light fur, but I did it, and luckily our first baby ended up having black fur and the bird head. Even though it was a small island, I stayed on it a little bit longer than I should have, but we do end up with two babies with bird heads and dark fur. I decided to keep the original female behind because it's an extra mouth to feed and I don't like her traits. This next island was much larger, and instead of just interbreeding the entire time, I have decided to incorporate a wild animal into our group even though it doesn't have all the traits I am looking for. After the death by Berryina, I am starting to panic because if I end on just the wild individual's traits, she will not have the bird head gene that I am looking for and the whole thing falls apart. Sadly, the majority of the adults I had in the clan were already killed, so I just tried to run away at this point, saving the genes that I do have. Luckily or unluckily, the individual that I did not want to keep alive the whole time does end up dying, however the babies are still at great risk. Of course, at my most dire moment when I am starving and being chased by a Berryina, I also get swarmed by mosquitoes and surrounded by a hawk. It is at this moment when my blackbird dies that I realize I am screwed. Generation 3 opens up with two pale individuals with puppy dog faces. Although cute and having the recessive trait for birdhead, this is the end of our journey. It took only 3 generations to get from blackbird to tan puppy. I hope that this was at least mildly interesting, but if you made it this far, thank you for watching.